Hello, everyone, and welcome to the live magic Q&A tea party with me, your host, Madame Pamita. We meet up every Sunday at 5 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Mountain, 7 p.m. Central, or 8 p.m. Eastern. Those are all the same time in the world. It's just different time zones. And we record this as a free Zoom meeting each and every Sunday, except the first Sunday of the month, which is workshop day. And I'll tell you about that in a second. So we meet here every Sunday and then post the recording later on at some point in the future on YouTube. As Gabriella pointed out, time has no relevance anyway anymore, as we've discovered over the last year. So if you're watching this as a replay on YouTube and you would like to get into the super secret Spell Squad Clubhouse, you can do that. All you have to do is go to spellsquad.com and sign up, and you'll get a link so that you can join us here and ask your questions about magic, law of attraction, divination, tarot, witchcraft, you name it. We have amazing guests on here, amazing knowledgeable people on here, and you will get some really wonderful information. So if you are just stumbling upon this and you don't know who I am Madame Pamita, and you can find me at parlorofwonders.com. That's my headquarters. That's my website. But you can also find me on YouTube. I've got an Instagram account. I've got a Facebook. I've got all that stuff. And it's all under my name, Madame Pamita. No spaces, no underscores, just Madame Pamita, all smushed together. Now, I've got a couple of announcements of things that are coming up, and then I'm going to introduce our fabulous guest. So first of all, the March new moon spell, which is a heart healing spell, is now live. It went live today. It's going to be live for 1 week, or in the case of the spell service, until those 13 spaces are filled. If you would like to be have this access, this beautiful new moon energy, which is quite powerful astrologically because we have the sun and the moon in the same sign every new moon. It's pretty magical. If you would like to access that beautiful heart healing, gentle, soothing energy of Pisces, which is so, so beautiful for the heart and so beautiful for the emotions. Also great for psychic awareness, but that's not the spell we're working on. Also great for creativity. That's not the spell we're working on, but we're doing the heart healing spell for Pisces new moon. Anyway, this beautiful spell is on sale now, and it will be on sale only until the end of the week, until the 27th. The reason for that is that we have to get those spell kits out to you in time for the new moon. So we only have that 1 week window where we can get them. You could order it and we can make sure that it gets to you in time. If you are an international person, and that includes Canada, please order today so that we have that extra week of time to get you your spell in time for the new moon. Another thing, I've got something new that I'm going to be starting this week. This is so exciting. We're going to be doing a special Spell Squad flash sale. We're going to be doing a special sale for you, and I'm going to announce it at the end of the show today. And the way to get into it is to text me. And so I'll be telling you about that at the end of the show. So stay tuned for that. I also want to let you know I've got a couple workshops coming up. February 24th, which is this Wednesday, I'm going to be teaching Candle Magic 101 through Catland Books. And if you want to sign up for that workshop, it's $20. You can sign up at catlandbooks.com. Catland, like kitty cat, catlandbooks.com. And you can go ahead and sign up for that workshop. That's going to be Wednesday, the 24th. And then I have that first Sunday workshop that I was telling you about. The next one's coming up March 7th. And that's going to be easy spells with oils, where I teach you how to make oils and how to use oils for your spell work. So it's going to be not only how to use them and the different ways that you can use them, which is, they are one of my favorite tools, but it's also going to be how to make your own oils. So I'm going to teach you everything I know about oils. It's going to be an amazing workshop. That one's $40, and that one you can sign up for at witchcraftworkshops.com. It'll take you to my site, directly to the workshops page, or you can just go the long way, go to Parlor of Wonders, go to Learn, go to Workshops, and it'll take you there too. All righty, that's all my announcements. So now I get to introduce my fabulous guest. So Gabriella Herstik is a witch. She's a fashion alchemist for sure, and an author living in Los Angeles. She's my LA witch sister. Yes, she's the author of Inner Witch, a modern guide to the ancient craft, which I have here, and also Bewitching the Elements, a guide to empower. You can do that one because I don't have that one yet. There we go. Bewitching the Elements, a guide to empowering yourself through earth, air, fire, water, and spirit. And most recently, Embody Your Magic, a guided journal for the modern witch. Oh my gosh, so beautiful. She's written for Vogue, she's written for Nylon, Dazed Beauty, Glamour, and more on the intersection of witchcraft, glamour, and sexuality. She fronts the High Priestess column on High Times Magazine, and she's a devotee of the goddess of love and believes magic is for everyone. That's why we're birds of a feather, because I believe the same thing. So she is going to be doing, first of all, welcome, Gabby. So glad to have you here.
Thank you so much for having
Oh
me.
my gosh, I'm so excited. I have been wanting this to happen for a long time, and finally we were able to make it happen, and I'm so happy.
Me too.
Now you're going to be doing a little reading at the end of our show today, and as I do, little tarot reading, we're going to do a giveaway for that little mini tarot reading. And to do that, you need to tell me your favorite emoji, and we're going to have people put that emoji into the chat to get into the drawing.
The rose emoji.
The rose emoji. Yeah, it's very Aphrodite, isn't it? Oh my gosh.
Blessing us.
So you can put the word rose, or you can put the rose emoji if you're on your phone. And that will get you into the contest, the giveaway for the reading at the end. Now, make sure you have a question in mind. You might want to think about what question you're going to ask. It's going to be a little, kind of focused question in some way. It could be about something that's going on in your life or a topic. It could be about love or money or job or health or whatever. You could just have that topic or that question in mind so that if you get picked, you'll be ready to go. All right. So go ahead and do that. Now, I am going to ask you questions about, first of all, how did you get started doing witchcraft? How did you get involved in this fabulous world that we're in?
So, long story short, I'll say the short version and then go through a little bit more detail. I started, I can, I entered the world of witchcraft, or I decided that I was a witch, realized I was a witch, came home to the idea that I was a witch when I was about 12 years old after receiving a deck of fairy oracle cards for Hanukkah. And I received them from my aunts in the Blue Ridge Mountains in North Carolina. And it was such a magical experience. And I received this deck that changed my life. I was led to Eden McCoy's A Witch's Guide to Fairy Folk. And I instantly, upon reading this, felt a sense of coming home. And I had gone to Salem, Massachusetts for Halloween a few years before, when I was like 9 years old, with my aunt for her birthday, because she was born on Halloween, and then my grandma and my twin sister. And I went to Lori Cabot's store. I saw a ritual. I ate pomegranate, and I went to the Witchcraft Museum and stood in front of these two wax figures and learned about Wicca and witchcraft, and heard them tell me the rule of three and the Wiccan reed. And what happened was, when I received this fairy deck, fairy oracle deck, a few years later, and started reading about witchcraft, I had kind of this full circle moment of recognition, and started feverishly reading about witchcraft and fairies, and just knew that that was what I was meant to believe. And I started working with goddesses around the same time. My relationship with witchcraft and goddess and the divine feminine is very intricately, oh my God, words today. Tied to they're tied to one another. And they're just intricately part of my magic. Both witchcraft and goddess worship are very tied up for me. But I started practicing magic when I was 12, and I grew up Jewish. I was about to have my bat mitzvah and didn't know that there was any kind of divine feminine feminism, or not feminism, but any divine feminine figure in Judaism. Didn't feel connected to it, didn't feel connected to the monotheistic aspect of it, and this kind of removed energy that I was getting from it, because although there's a lot of connection with the earth, I mean, Judaism is on a lunar calendar, and we celebrate the birthday of the trees, and there's a lot of stuff about the earth, but witchcraft it just touched me in a way that nothing had ever had at that point. And it's still not, I haven't had that feeling of coming home since then. So I started practicing when I was 12. I started practicing Wicca. I don't identify as Wiccan anymore, though I do identify as neo-pagan and a witch. And started working with the earth and practicing lunar rituals and just tapping into the current of magic that witchcraft offers, which is vast and varied and beautiful. So, but I
Oh my
was
God.
always a very like crystal child, spiritual child. I always like I would talk to God as a little girl and like was very into like breath work. And my mom wouldn't call herself a witch, but she has always been into meditation and past lives and all that kind of different stuff, energy work, yoga. And my dad's a rabbi, so I always kind of had that connection to like somebody to talk to about God and death and all that stuff. So they fostered my witchcraft in a lot of ways, but I was about 12 when I discovered the path for myself, and there's been no looking back.
Oh
So
my gosh. It's so great because what I hear in your story is so similar, except I'm the Catholic version of that. So,
yep,
although I think we have a pantheon, all those saints is like, that's a goddess over there. That's definitely goddess over.
yep, yep.
But the same thing. I grew up in a household where that wasn't like where your magic was part of your practice, and those two didn't really feel separate. And it sounds like with your mom, especially, that was the case, that she was practicing, she was Jewish, but she was practicing meditation. That's kind of the household that I grew up in, where it wasn't
Yeah,
meditation, but it was magic stuff that we would do all the time. But we didn't think of it as witchcraft or magic. We were just doing
yeah.
magic, Catholic magic, right? So yeah.
I mean, yeah. My friend says, like the path from Catholicism to the cult is a straight line. Like it is so tied. I mean, even Mary Magdalene, like, and Mary. There's so many goddesses in Catholicism, and the ritual and the magic and the senses. It's yeah. I totally
And
see that.
lighting candles. I say my first candle magic was in the Catholic Church when I was, 5 years old, and put
Yeah,
a quarter into the box and lit a candle. I mean, you're lighting a candle. That's candle magic. It's basic candle
yeah,
magic, but it's candle magic, right?
yeah. Like the
So
Shabbat candles on Friday night.
exactly. The same thing. It's like, when people are like, oh, candle magic. Oh, I'm like,
You're
you
familiar.
probably, well, yeah. Have you had a birthday cake? You've done candle magic. So I love that story. And it's really interesting. The same thing, I see a lot of parallels too, because we had the experience in Salem when I was 10 years old in Salem. We went to Lori Cabot's shop, and my mother said, pick something out, and I picked out a tarot deck. So
I
same,
love I
same.
know. I had some oak that I got from her store for years and years. I lost it moving, I think, from South Carolina here to LA, but I love that. And I love that
Yeah.
even though it sounds like even though your mom and you may have had different beliefs, or even though she might not have called herself a witch, she was still supportive of your exploration of the cult, the spirit.
Exactly. I mean, she's a Ukrainian diaspora Ukrainian, and so in Ukrainian Slavic practice, there's
Yeah.
something called dvovery. I can't really say it because it's hard. It's one of those words with a D and a V next to it, but it's that you can practice magic and be a Catholic at the same
Yeah.
time. There's folk magic and Catholicism happening at the same time.
Yep.
So it's like magic was not forbidden. It wasn't like that really was something that really came about, I think, in the 80s with a lot of like, fundamentalism, where things that were the occult were bad and wrong and this and the devil and you're going to get possessed, and scary movies, reinforce that. So, but my mother was older and she wasn't aware of all that, and she didn't really buy it anyway. So yeah. So, and I love that beginning, that in Salem is it is truly a magical place. And it has become, despite what that Puritan beginning has become the center of people, that land is almost like reclaimed for witches, because of the women that were killed there, because of that. So I think that has been a amazing
Mm,
turnaround.
too.
So I love that. And now, when did you get started with your books? Like, when did that happen?
That happened about like 4 years ago. So I have been writing about witchcraft. It'll be like 6 or 7 years this summer. I started because I used to have a fashion blog back in the days where blogging was the thing, and I've always been really like out of the broom closet. I mean, I grew up in the Bible Belt, and I was already, like a Jewish Mexican person, rabbi's daughter. And I think people, I never really kept it hidden, though I don't really think I was like shouting it from the rooftops all the time. But in high school, on my blog, maybe it was college, it was early college, I started writing. I wrote a piece called "Why I Chose Witchcraft" and talked about that on my fashion blog. And I started a series of outfit photos based on tarot cards on my blog, and started talking about that. And oh my God, I just had such an Aquarius moment where I was talking like, can you repeat your question? My brain just went to another parallel universe. And
How
I'm
did
like,
you get? You're an Aquarian. Of course it did.
Pisces, my
Like,
Pisces Mercury is just like this Pisces. I don't know what happened. I'm so sorry.
that's okay. I just asked you about your book, how you got
Oh,
started writing books.
yeah. So
No big deal.
I started writing about witchcraft on my blog, and then eventually started writing for what was Vice's feminist vertical broadly in college, about the different Sabbats. So I wrote something about the winter solstice, and started writing for Nylon magazine and had a column, and then was approached to write Inner Witch, which originally was published in the UK as Craft, How to Be a Modern Witch. And that was about 4 years ago. So it came out in the UK 3 years ago in March. So I went to school to be a fashion writer. I moved to LA to intern for Vivienne Westwood. I was convinced I was going to be a fashion editor, and then had started writing about witchcraft. And months before, like literally, I got approached at the end of February 4 years ago to write this book. At the end of that December prior, I was like, so many people are writing about witchcraft. Like, I'm going to quit. I'm going to write about menswear. Like, there are too many people writing about this. And then the universe had different plans. So I've just been listening. It's like probably the greatest honor of my life, being able to write about this stuff. So I'm just very thankful that I got the chance.
I love that you, though, I mean, you have done such a beautiful, I mean, I think of your Instagram, because that's really what I look at and I see you and where you come up for me so often. You have she has a gorgeous Instagram where it's pictures of you that are so beautifully done, where you're wearing clothing and you're making these beautiful tableaus, and you just look amazing. And you're bringing like I think that's such a beautiful thing, to bring that fashion and witchcraft together. Like, witchcraft doesn't have to, and I think that's very Aquarian, by the way. That's just my opinion. Don't you think it's Aquarian?
Oh yeah.
Like making a mashup of something that is like, people look and they go, wow, that's amazing. How inventive and how creative. And you are bringing your authentic self. Like, I do really see your authenticity and your boldness and your bravery, and just being like, here I am, this is what I love, and this is what I'm about. And I'm not going to suppress my fashion. I'm not going to suppress my sexuality. I'm not going to suppress those other things and just be like, I'm going to talk about witchcraft. It's like, how do these things intersect? How do these things come together? Because what is it? In reality, your magic is like your art. Your whole life is art, right? Your whole life is magic. It's not, magic is not like, I'm going to do this one ritual for 15 minutes and then magic is not on my mind or in my life. You live a magic life, and every part of your life is magic, So you really exemplify and show that to the world, like, you know what? I'm passionate about fashion, and I'm passionate about spirituality, and I'm going to bring those two together. I'm passionate about cannabis. I'm passionate about sexuality. I'm passionate about all these things, and I can be all these things, and I don't have to feel like I have to be fake, or I have to only show one part of myself and hide the rest, which I think is that's to me very Aquarian, because you are there, you're real, and you're totally authentic, and and what comes out, people resonate with it because it is real. It's real, and you're just like, here I am, right? Here I am.
Thank you for all those kind words. That means so much coming from you, from which I admire and adore. So I receive that with so much gratitude and love. And that's like, yeah, I mean, it's the internet. There's sometimes where I'm like, I wish I could be less vulnerable sometimes, because I'm like, I'm such an air sign, and I have a water moon and water Mercury. So sometimes I just overshare, but I've always found that being vulnerable and being honest with who I am in my practice, well, obviously keeping things sacred. Like I do think, like what you see is absolutely real and authentic, but there's parts that I need to keep hidden just for me. But I do know that I it's never worked for me to try to be somebody else. And I realized that at a very young age that I could either spend my life trying to be like everybody else, or I could just say fuck it and be myself. And it is a great decision. And it's something that I really, yeah, I really try to be as authentic as possible. I never want to first off say that I'm like better than anybody else. I want people to remember that I'm just a person, exploring and sharing as I learn. And I totally agree with what you were saying about magic. I think that magic is a lens in which you live your life. It's not something that you just do once. It's not when you, like you said, it's not just when you're performing a ritual or a spell. It's how you move through the world. It's how you connect with other people. It's how you listen. It's how you interact with nature. I just tweeted this right before I got on here, but I feel like one of the greatest gifts of being a witch is the fact that we are in constant communion and communication with nature and with the cosmos and with the spirit and with the universe. And I do think it's important to have a regular magical ritual practice, even if it's just to protect yourself psychically. I think that kind of discipline is very powerful and very important. But I just think the most powerful form of magic is that which is personal and that which you're passionate about. Like I like you with your music. That is a part of your magic. It's a part of your art. It's a part of your expression. Like we feel that. And for me, like that's yeah, that's art, that's sex, that's self-expression is really important to me, and dressing up and being creative is part of my magic. And I rather just be myself and have people resonate with it than try to force myself on people who aren't meant to understand me anyway.
100%, 100%. That's one of the things I love about, well, I love about witchcraft is like sometimes people will go, well, if I do this, is it bad? Is it wrong? I go, nobody's forcing you to do it. If you feel that it's bad and you're wrong, you probably shouldn't be doing it. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? Like
exactly.
if that's like everything, it's like no one's forcing you to practice magic. No one is forcing anyone to do that. If you feel attracted, if it resonates for you,
Yeah.
great. If something else resonates for you, another spiritual path, then great, you follow that path. No
Mhm.
one is saying you have to do it, and no one is forbidding you to do it either, you know? You get to decide for you. And so if it's like, oh my gosh, if I do this candle spell, is it evil or wrong? Then if that's your first thought, then you shouldn't be doing
Yeah.
it. Like, don't go there. It's like you need to be ready to embrace or do or don't do. Nobody's forcing you, saying if you don't do this, something bad's going to happen to you. Not at all. That's one of the things I love about witchcraft. But I was thinking as you were talking, how inspirational, like your authenticity allows someone else to be authentic. That's the great gift of what you do, is because you are brave. I don't know if you think you're brave, but you are brave. And that bravery opens the door for someone else. That's what Aquarians do. Oh my gosh, that's what Aquarians do, right? You guys open the door for someone else to follow. And I feel like that's the Aquarian gift. You will always be out at the forefront. And sometimes it's lonely out at the forefront. Like you walk around and people don't get you. And I'm sure, maybe, I don't know, but probably in high school, you may have been kind of the outsider a little bit, you know?
Oh yeah.
And that can feel lonely sometimes, being at the forefront.
Mhm.
But what happens is the people who get you really get you, and you do open the door for someone else. I'm getting chills. Oh my gosh, as I say this, you open the door for someone else to go, I'm feeling very shy about my sexuality. Now I feel I can be bold and nothing will happen because it didn't happen to her. So, you took away the fear that someone had about being open about using cannabis, or being open about, sexuality, or being open about whatever, being a witch. Because guess what? It's still, we're here in LA where like everybody's a dang witch, but that's not the case
Yeah.
in the rest of the country necessarily. When you get out of the big city, it might be really scary for you to come out. And so you help, by you being so out, you help other people to feel supported in their own journey. It's just
Thank
such a
you.
beautiful thing,
That is
such a beautiful gift.
so appreciate you saying that. And I feel like biggest compliment I get is inspiring other people to be themselves.
Yeah.
That's the dream. I really, know thyself. There's a reason that is an occult maxim. Like that is the great work. We have to be self-actualized to be able to move through this world as powerfully as possible. And it's always it always feels like such a gift when I help people find that and inspire people to accept that part of themselves, because I know how special it is, and I know how hard it is to be somewhere like not LA. Like I grew up in Johns Creek, Georgia. I went to school in University of South. Oh my God, University of South Carolina, in Columbia, South Carolina. Like I remember being a baby witch, being like 11 and 12, and just feeling so lonely and so isolated. And that's part of the reason I'm so thankful we have the internet, we have Zoom. Like it's like anything, the internet, the dark web exists and you can do horrible things on the internet, but also when else in history have we been able to gather around the world and connect and practice ritual and find community? So I totally, I'll always remember that. I think it's important, especially when we're in places like LA where everybody's a witch. And we got to go to witchy burlesque shows and do all that fun stuff. But thank goddess for Zoom, because we can connect with people who we wouldn't usually connect with. So.
I know, it's the best. That's why I love the clubhouse here. That's why I love all you guys that are in the clubhouse, because we get together no matter where you are in the world, really. You can come and join us here and we can all be together in community, in a really supportive community that is there to help and support you in your journey, whatever that is. It may be, doing what we do or doing something different, but we support you in your spiritual journey, however you're navigating that. And I just love that. So are you ready to get to some questions? Oh, and by the way, if you are someone who is just getting introduced to witchcraft, I really recommend this book, because it is a really complete look at all the aspects of witchcraft and how and understanding. So when somebody's talking in jargon and they're saying the 4 directions and you're like, what's 4 directions? What's that mean? You'll know because you'll look in the book and you'll find out what it means. So this is a really great primer on witchcraft and magic. And if you or someone is like just getting started, you can check out this book and you will have a great foundational knowledge. This is a beautiful book for that. I just love it. So Inner Witch, you guys. So, and they can get it all the usual places. Although I'm encouraging people, this is really, you want to talk about magic, I'm going to share a little funny thing. All through my book, the Candle Magic book coming out, I was saying to everyone, buy it from your local mom and pop store, because it was in the pre-sale days. And it was like, oh my gosh, the pandemic's here. The poor little mom and pop shops are, struggling. Amazon has no problem, but let's support our little local stores so that we have bookstores to go to, right? Do you want to, how many times I repeated that magic? You know what happened? All the mom and pop stores got the book and Amazon didn't have it for 2 months. So they could only buy my book at the mom and pop store.
Yeah.
Or Amazon just was like, we're listening to you all the time and fuck you. I don't know.
Amazon was like, we're not worthy of this magic.
No, they were just like, girl, you go to your mom and pop stores. We're not going to carry your book for 2 months. No, it was like some glitch in the ordering. It was so crazy though. And I had to laugh, because what did I do? I manifested that crap. But it was fine. Everybody got their books, and the mom and pop stores actually benefited. So it worked out great. But anyway, so let's get to some questions. We got lots and lots of questions. Let's get to some questions about.
Light on.
Okay, go ahead and switch your light on.
Okay.
Alrighty. Okay, so let's see. Hello. Okay, let's see. Going to hellos, everybody. Okay. Nina has this is the perfect question for Gabby. Nina says, what do you think is the sexiest tarot card? I'm looking for sexy spells for my lull in my relationship during the pandemic. May I get some inspiration from the tarot?
Oh my God, absolutely. I love using the tarot, not just for divination, but both for like meditation and scrying, and then just for inspiration, whether that's for coming up with an affirmation I can say, or for channeling energy for a certain day. So I think my question would be, figure out like you can either use, like, if you want to use a major arcana card, I feel like depends on what you want. If you want to go more for like a lusty, sexy energy, you could honestly work with the devil and channel that kind of energy of subversion and of trying something new and of like releasing this idea that relationships have to look a certain way. I think the Devil's a really beautiful and powerful card. And on the Tree of Life connects it, that path, that tarot card connects the sphere of Mercury, the magician, with the sun and illumination. So there's this kind of like playful energy because Mercury is both the god of magic and communication, but also the patron of thieves. So that's a fun one. You could always work with the Lovers if you want to kind of rekindle a sense of romance in your life, and channel that energy. But you could also look at the different like court cards. So if you want to channel an energy that's more like sexual, you could work with the King or Queen of Wands or work with those. Even or even the Knights, where it's kind of like an initiating energy that is might help to like actually, you know, start the fire again. The Knight of Wands would be a great one. If you want to do something more romantic, maybe the Knight of Cups or the Queen and King of Cups. If you feel like, you know, maybe the intellectual connection is missing or the banter or just like that kind of creative energy, you could always work with the court cards for the element of swords. I recently scribed with the Knight of Swords and he had a very erotic energy for me. So might be something to play with. Swords are kind of, I think they're hot. I'm also an air sign. And then you can also work with the Pentacles if you want something really like, not passionate, but like very sensual, very grounded, more abundant. So you could work with, you know, the Knight of Pentacles if you want to kind of like have that energy more showing up in your life. But you could also choose to embody an energy like the Empress if you want to tap into like your own sensuality and embody that and bring that to your partner. So there's a lot of ways you could work with them. Yeah, and the wands are so phallic. It's literally like, I mean, the Ace of Wands is like a hand job, honestly.
Yeah, it is.
Rated R, like the King of Wands, yeah, that's a very phallic energy too. So, and then the cups are, you know, they're yonis. They're the womb. They're the energy of creation. So I think there's a lot to work with, and allow whatever inspires you to guide you. And then you can also visualize in meditation, like going into the card and talking to it, interacting with it, embodying the characters and seeing what comes up that way.
I love that you brought up the Devil card because that is one of, I mean, the major arcana cards I always feel have this really big range of meaning, just so beautiful. And one of the aspects of the Devil card is rebellion. Now it can be unhealthy rebellion or it can be healthy rebellion. But when we want to break out of like our, like what we're being the good girl or our own judgment of ourselves, it's a great card for bringing in that, like, I'm going to do what I want to do. I don't care. This is what I want. And if what you're finding yourself holding yourself back, or you're not asking for what it is that you want sexually, this is a great card for doing that, that being wild and lusty and also being a rule breaker, you know, which is so,
exactly.
yeah. And that's a card I wouldn't have thought, you know, I thought, okay, she's going to go with the Lovers. She's going to go, but then you were like, oh, that's right. The Devil card is a fabulous one for that. So it's perfect.
I love that card. That's my card of the year. So I'm like, I'm feeling it, and this moon phase. So it's a good one. It's like, if you take out the kind of like dualistic, monotheistic idea of the devil, or like Christian idea of the devil, and really tap into that, just like you were saying, like expansive energy, it's a good one.
Yeah. I always feel like it's that thing. It's a tricky one because it's like you can really indulge yourself, but then when you have to like balance that, are you the master of the indulgence or is the indulgence mastering you? So I think it can happen even if you don't. Like when people get obsessive, I mean, that's another aspect of the Devil card is obsession, right? So sometimes when something is forbidden, it becomes an obsession, right? You can't do that thing. So now you think about it all the time, right?
Aquarius energy, yeah.
That can be a very healthy way to like indulge that thing. And then it isn't like your obsession anymore, you know, like you've had it and you're like, oh, great, I had it, you know? So I love that. It's a great exploration for if you wanted to bring more spice or bringing more, breaking out of that good girl or good boy thing, that's that judge that's sitting over your shoulder, you know? All right, let's see. Yeah, we're time witches. Angela said, we're total time witches. This last year we've been time witches. Oh my gosh. All right, so let me get through all the roses. I feel like I'm moving through. Oh, Monty says you need to create a Lori Cabot candle for inspirational energy in our spells. Yes, I do. She's amazing. All right, Bruce has a question for you. Do wicked witches exist in real life or only in fiction?
I would say both. Like, I mean, I feel like the idea of being wicked is that we're all gonna have different ideas of what that is. So like for me, being wicked in a negative way, a negative connotation of that, which is it's perfect for like it's like the devil card. It's like you were saying, like, being too constrained and being too puritanical is just as negative as being too indulgent. So I think with this idea of wickedness, it'd be for me using energy and magic for malicious purposes and to harm others. And there are definitely people who do that. It's like anything, like there's going to be people who use their magic selflessly, and there's going to be people who use their magic selfishly. And I think that there's going to be that range. But as far as like Maleficent level, like witches who are like that kind of negative, I mean, I'm sure there are, but I've yet to meet them. I feel like all the witches I know are really good people and using magic for powerful purposes to help the betterment of the collective. And I would argue that like being a witch in itself has always been labeled as wicked, because it is something that goes against what society and the church and the patriarchal paradigm tell us. Because you don't need anybody else's approval, you don't need anybody else's acceptance to be a witch, and you don't need anything from anybody else except yourself. Your power comes from yourself, and I think a lot of people would consider that wicked. And because there always has been a sexual current to witchcraft. Sexual energy is creative energy, and as literally the energy that manifests life, that a lot of people would definitely consider witches wicked. So yes, I think there are definitely wicked witches, and that they also exist in movies.
Yeah. Well, the thing I would say is, who's writing the story,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
It's like that's one thing about I didn't see the play Wicked, but I know I get the gist of it is that we're hearing it from the other viewpoint
yeah.
where Elphaba or whatever Elphaba is telling her version of the story and Glinda's the manipulative one or whatever, right? So this idea that witches are evil, if you go back in history far enough, you start to see that there's shamans, there's healers, there's herbalists, and so on, who were doing work for the community and doing spiritual work. Well, what was the problem? As you said, they weren't controlled. Well, now we have to control them. So we're going to spin it so that we're going to put out the press that these are evil and what they're doing is bad. Why? Because they're not following the church, or they're not following, who they're supposed to follow, or they're women, and we don't want women to have power. A lot of, witches are, not all witches are women, but this is what the story is, right? Is that, witches are female.
Mhm.
So the idea that we have this, you're bad, you're wrong. I mean, we see it now, that there's press out there that's saying this. I mean, I just had the other day, this is crazy. In my DM, somebody comes in and said, witchcraft is evil. You're going to go to hell. Here's a Bible quote that I'm going to give you, and blah, 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 blah. And I go, hi, I would never presume to go into your DMs, a stranger who I don't know, and tell you how to practice your spirituality. You're free to practice your spirituality. I believe in freedom of practicing spirituality. So you coming into my DMs is not welcome. It's like, what? Like, who asked you? I don't go into your Christian DM and go telling you you're wrong. You want to believe that? Go right to town. But, that's like, whatever. So according to that woman, I'm wicked and evil, but so is wearing yoga pants, right? You know what I mean? And homosexuality and everything else is evil and wrong. So to them, so I'm in good company with the yoga pants wearers and the LGBTQ and
Right,
everybody
all the
else.
fun people. Like, it'll be a party in hell if we're there, and I don't even believe in hell. So what are you talking
Exactly.
about?
Hell is that concept that they have to keep people in line, to keep them in line, right? That's their concept, so we don't buy it. So I know you and I don't buy it. So, all right. So Diana says, this is the most Aquarian thing I've ever heard. Yay. Cheers to my fellow Aquarians and all the signs represented here. Everybody come to the party, do the Aquarian party. I love it. Oh my gosh. I love it. Okay. Let's see. All the Aquarians are like giving shout outs. Oh my gosh, it's so cute. Um, Lady Raven says it can be an isolated witch world here in New York City, believe it or not. I
Yeah.
know quite a few witches in New York, but yeah, anytime, even being in a city, as we know, when you come to a new place and you don't know anybody, a city can be very lonely. All right, let's see. So Penelope has a question for you. What's your favorite type of work? I know the answer to this one. Love work, protecting work, creating potions. What do you like to do? What's
Okay,
your
my
favorite?
I'm gonna give a two-part answer. My favorite, because I notice how much it helps, is my daily meditation practice first thing in the morning. My psychic protection, cleansing my body, cleansing my energy field, calling back my energy, tuning into myself, journaling, tarot. That morning practice has been life changing for me. Even though it might not always, might not always feel the most fun, I always enjoy doing it, even if I'm tired. But my favorite is definitely like sex magic that involves goddess devotional work, love magic, and kink. So, like, for me, that means working with my body as a tool of devotion to the goddesses I'm pledged to, and to myself and to the universe. So, there's a lot of different ways that manifests, and it's usually through subversive things that I do in ritual as devotion.
I love it. I love it. Very, and that's also very Aquarian too,
Mhm.
you know.
The
I love
scorpion coming through.
um, Nikki has a question about meditation. So this would be great. I don't know, do you ever teach meditation or do you ever talk about it? I haven't seen you talk about it
I
directly.
do, but not like a ton. Like, I talk about my morning practice, but I don't really. I write a lot of guided meditations, but it's not something that I really like. I won't really post about it on Instagram.
Yeah, I haven't seen that, a lot of
Yeah.
that from you, but it's fascinating and it's such a great practice. So Nikki says, during meditation, I really struggle with getting there. I can drown out thoughts for the most part and focus on breathing, but I can't get lost in my meditation. I used to be able to, but lately it's not happening. Are there any recommendations? That's where I wanted to get to. Like, what would you suggest to someone who's struggling with meditation and they want to do their meditation practice?
Just like be okay with it. Like, don't beat yourself up about it. It's not like I'm the same way. Like, I don't feel like, because I know the feeling. I know the feeling of like getting to a place in meditation where it just feels expansive and present, and like it feels so delicious and just feels so good. You're like, oh my God, this is why I do it. Like, that happens to me sometimes in meditation and breath work, but not every time I sit down and meditate. And I know for myself, like, I'm super air sign, like I mentioned, and I focus less on the result and more about the fact that I sat down and dedicated my time to that meditation. You don't have to get there every time. And I know for myself that when I get, it's like, for me, it can be a feedback loop where I'm like, oh, I should have gotten here. And then like I didn't get here. And then it's like kind of like this like self-punishing thing where I get upset about myself at myself for not getting there. And it just doesn't feel good. So like we're we have gone through so much this past year. We have gone through the whole world, but like especially if you're living in the US, we have gone through so much. And like even if we're doing all our practices and we're being able to be present and grateful, like that background noise is still affecting us, especially as like witches and psychic people who are tuned in. So just giving yourself that compassion and being like, it is okay that I'm not here today. And like I love myself anyway, and I have this spiritual practice anyway. And like it is still doing it is still helping you and it is still supporting you even if you don't necessarily feel like you're where you want to be. And I have been kind of struggling with that kind of thinking in my own practice with opening my heart. I'm like, it's been hard for me more than usual, and I'm like, okay, well, I felt my heart open, but I'm still not where I wanted to be. And I had somebody remind me, like, enjoy the process, because as soon as you get there, you're going to have something else that you're going to want to work on. So just being present and like being compassionate and remembering why you're doing it. It's not for the result right then. It's because it helps you. And even if you don't necessarily feel like it's helping you in the right way, like you still sat down and meditated, and that is worth it. And just like, I think self-compassion is so important, and it's something that we don't really talk about enough. So just like being gentle with yourself and being okay with it. And like, it's a law of least resistance. As soon as you release that expectation, it's going to happen. So
Yeah, I think you bring up a great point, which is that um, it's almost like I would say it goes along with magic too. It's like not every spell is going to bring you your result.
Yep.
People think that. People think if I do a spell, the first spell I do is going to have like, it's going to be like the craft or something, like something's going to happen. And it's the practice of doing. So like sometimes I will work on something and I'll burn several candles to get to the result, or I'll burn the candle and I'll just let it go. And then the result comes to me like 3 months later.
Exactly.
So the whole thing with that meditation practice is to let go of your expectation and that result. Just be present for the meditation. Like you said, just be mindful and be present in it. One of the other things I would say too is, and I should probably follow this thing I'm about to say a little bit more, is if you can't, sometimes you go like, oh, I don't have 15 minutes. I got to get going. Do a 2-minute meditation. If you're at work, go into the bathroom, put on your headphones and like listen to calm.com for 2 minutes, or, find a little, guided meditation on YouTube for free, or get an app, and then do those like 2-minute guided meditations. I think guided meditation is such a lovely practice. If you're having a hard time, if you get jumping out and you start criticizing yourself or
Absolutely.
judging yourself, get your mind on something else and get into that guided meditation where you're focused on something else, and allow that. And that may calm down that critical voice a little
Yeah.
bit too. And just do it for 2 minutes if you can't do it for 5 or 10 or
Yeah.
20.
Absolutely. Start small and work your way up. And also it's a meditation practice. It's a practice. There's never going to be a state of perfection. You have to like, it'll get there. And I know for myself too, doing breath work, if you like, don't want to do a guided meditation, just doing your like breath work for 2 minutes makes a big difference.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and if you, that's all you can do that,
Yeah.
So yeah, for sure. All right. Now I'm going to ask you one more question. And this is the part where I'm going to count all the roses. So, oh, and then Nikki's gotten some great suggestions from Buchanan, Lady Raven. Other people are helping. Um, all right. So let's see. All right. Nina has a question. Does anyone believe in cusps? So in astrology, referring to the zodiac, like, do you believe? I believe in cusps, but maybe you want to explain to them what cusps are and what your interpretation of that when you're looking at someone, and they're on a cusp. And I'm
Sure.
going to count the
So
roses. All right.
cusps are the idea that when you're born at the end of one sign, so like if you're born at the end of Aquarius season, which would be like the first day of Pisces season is February 18th, and the days change from year to year. So you might meet, people that are like your dad was what, February 19th Aquarius. So yeah, it changes. But cusp is the idea that if you're close to the beginning or end of one sign, even if you're in the next sign, you're going to still have that kind of energy of the sign before or after it. So technically, like a lot of astrologers say that cusps don't exist because each sign is 30 degrees and you're either 0 degrees of one sign, 30 degrees of the other. Like there's, there's a line where you're either one or the other. I'm still figuring it out. Like, I think that if you feel that you are like another sign, that might be because you either have a lot of placements in maybe like that house. So like if you're super Aquarius, if you're a Pisces cusp, long story short, I think that there might be something sometimes in the birth chart that explains that attraction. Like if you have a lot of other, planetary bodies in that sign or in that house. But also, like we said, time doesn't exist. And I think that energy is energy. So like if you are on a cusp and you feel that, then like, I can't tell you that that's not true. So, but I know like some people kind of shit on the idea of cusps. I have mixed feelings, but I'm also very fixed sign. So I have to work on being less rigid about my beliefs sometimes. So.
Well, I think it's like, for me, it is true. It's like, why wouldn't you want to have a cusp? Because you get the best of both worlds. You get a little bit of this and a little bit of that. I'll have some of column A and some of column B, right? So I think that when you're born on that, you might embody, like my dad was Aquarian cusp, but he was February 19th. He was so Aquarian, but he was born on that Pisces cusp. I mean, he was born like right on it, right? And Yet I go, well, he was really presenting as Aquarian, but maybe he had that Piscean part of him that was like I think there is a part of him that was Piscean as I look back at him. You know, he liked his alone time. He was somebody who would like to go and like work on things in the garage and be by himself. And I think that can have that kind of Piscean quality of like internal energy, you know, whereas but what he was doing in there was totally Aquarian. He's working on electronics, you know what I mean? Like that's the most Aquarian thing you can do. So I think that you might see it manifest in certain ways, and if you want to embrace that sign, great. If you're like I'm an Aquarian and I was born on the 19th and I love that Pisces quality, then embrace it. And if you're like, ugh, whatever other sign is, I don't want to, that's fine too. Live your life as you want to live it. And if you want to enhance one aspect of your astrological makeup, then live it like that. We were talking before we came on about I'm a Leo rising, and when I was in my 20s, I'm like, I'm not a Cancer. I feel much more Leo. Now I feel much more Cancer than I feel Leo, although I do like to be around all you guys and have fun with you and be at the party, you know. So I think about like, you know, that you can also play with those aspects that you have in your chart and enhance them and think about them and how do you want to live them out. You can even take things that you don't have in your chart and embody those because you might want to try it on like an outfit, right? Do some astrological cosplay. Who's to say, right?
We have every house in we have all of the signs within us. We have all the archetypes within us. And especially if there's a sign you really don't like, that is some shadow work right there for you to work with that and see what's rubbing up against you. Cause you probably have some kind of placement in there, or some aspect, or there's something that you might want to just explore if you feel called.
Yeah, I mean, that's what the beautiful thing about astrology. So I think as you look at those things, you don't have to be, you know, you can take cusps or you can leave cusps. You know,
No,
there's nothing to
exactly.
say either way. But I always think it's I always like go like, oh, you get both. You get to
I
have
love
both
that.
of those things. Like,
I
what a
love
great
thinking about
thing.
that. Yeah. That's
Yeah, you
great.
get some will call them A and some will call them B. Why not? Why
Both
not take the best of both worlds, right? All right, so our magic number, you need to pick our winner. Before we do this though, I want to remind you, after we do the reading, I'm going to tell you guys how you can get your secret code to get a discount at that flash sale that's only for the Spell Squad members who are here today. So I'm going to tell you about that right after we're done with this. So don't go away. So 1 and 22. So pick a number between 1 and 22.
I'm gonna pick 22.
Oh my gosh, 22. That person who just snuck in the wire. Nina snuck under the wire. Nina Coleman, you snuck under the wire. I'm gonna unmute you so you can give us your question and tell us. So hold on just a second. Let me get the participants up. Let me get the attend. I gotta push all the buttons. All right, Nina, hi. Can you unmute yourself? There you are.
Yes. Hi.
Hi, Nina. You were lucky number 22. So what question would you like Gabby to look at with your little mini reading today?
I was actually the one who asked about the zodiac,
The
I got,
cusp.
yes, I'm struggling with that. I'm Leo Virgo, and it's bad because my biggest arguments with myself, I really don't have time to argue with anybody else. So it's like 3 months out of the year, it's every summer, I turn into a completely different person, and I'm a Leo. And the other 9 months of the year, I'm a Virgo. And so, but I'm attracted to the fire sign more than earth.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I do my spell work, I'm drowned in candles. So because I just love the fire, and I've been that way ever since I was a young girl. So I'm really trying to get a handle on that. I think you really answered my other question, which was about meditation.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah. So do
trying
you
to
want
get,
so in your
mhm.
reading, do you want to look at like relationship? Do you want a little reading about relationship or about self-love and self-acceptance? What do you want to look at for your tarot reading?
Yeah, I'm kind of curious about relationship. Like, I don't know. I love cancers when it comes down to males and females. I love cancers. I am extremely attracted to them for some reason. But I'm kind of wanting to know which way I should kind of set my sights towards, and I've had some bad luck, so I've been single for a while. So
All right, so let's ask, maybe let me help you form that question and you tell me if this is good. How can you bring in a really quality relationship that is like a great match for what it is that you want? Is that a good question?
that's a great question.
All right, let's go to town. So Gabby's gonna do that reading for you. I'm gonna mute you real quick, okay?
Okay.
Sorry, do my shuffling process. Okay, so the first card I got was the High Priestess reversed. So, like, congratulations for showing up and honoring what you want and finding somebody who fosters your curiosity with the esoteric, who accepts that part of you, and who also helps you to find a sense of stillness. I love that you're a Virgo. We're about to have the Virgo full moon this week, and Virgo as the Virgin, as somebody who is, it really is an energy of sovereignty. So like also, you know, like a lot of the goddesses were virgin goddesses, like the Vestal virgins were the ones that were taking care of the temples. Like the energy of the High Priestess is really one of stillness and of self-awareness. So I also think it's like seeing this time as being single, as cultivating your own like inner world and your inner wisdom, that is absolutely going to help you attract whoever you're meant to attract. So somebody who fosters that, who helps you be grounded and who helps and honors that kind of like Virgo energy, I think that's really important. And somebody who feels magical, like that, you deserve that. The second card I got was the Queen of Swords. So this energy is somebody who you have a mental connection with, somebody that makes you feel inspired, who expands your sense of what's possible, and who also kind of has this like, you know, this Virgo is a very grounded analytical energy. Like I think of the swords are also like, you know, it's a rigid kind of, it's a sword, it's rigid, it's strong, and it can be used in many different ways. But somebody who helps you be grounded, but also like lovingly calls you out on your shit, like who helps you feel aligned, who really holds space for your fullest expression and fullest self. Like you really don't want anybody who's like going to be threatened by your fullest self, and somebody who really like understands you mentally and who you can connect with at a very deep level is going to be really important. And then I also got the Three of Pentacles. So thinking about somebody who helps you build and helps you create and helps you grow. The Three of Pentacles is really a card of collaboration and expansion. And this is an energy of like, of relationship. It is being in relationship with somebody who, you know, like I totally understand what you're saying about the fire and like being attracted to that element, because I have no fire placements in my chart and I love that energy. Like I really am also drawn to the fire element, but like that's important. But you know, the Virgo aspect of you still need somebody who's going to be grounded with you and who's going to help you build from that foundation up. So like having somebody that helps you connect to your heart and to your magic, who sees you as a priestess that you are, somebody who brings out the best in you and your mind, who like helps you find that like self-acceptance for all aspects of you, and who also like is, you know, is helping you stay like in alignment with who you truly are, and then who helps you build like a life together and like helps you build the most magical version of yourself possible. And so the Queen of Swords too, maybe like the person that you're attracting is an air sign. And you know, even though the queen is obviously feminine, like that could also be an energy that you might want to embody, versus looking outside of yourself. But she might be a good one to meditate with because she doesn't take any shit. And also like I feel like the High Priestess, even though she's very watery, you can see that her her robe is watery. She's also connected to the moon, which on the tree of life is connected to the element of air. So like really honoring like what you need mentally to like grow with somebody, and not taking like that lightly, like really honoring what you need to be fulfilled mentally and from the ground up is very important. And on the bottom of the deck, I got death. So like really seeing all of those like bad choices, like that was the story and that doesn't have to be the story anymore. And like ending that kind of like, I'm the same way, you know, like I think our words are really powerful. So like really declaring that like, just because you've had those bad experiences, like that is one phase and you're entering a new phase. And like maybe even working with affirmations that declare that like that's something I say. I'm like, I have the best luck with men and I pick the best crushes and romantic partners. Like that's an affirmation I say in the morning to change that that reality and that mentality. So like mourn those past people if you have to mourn them, and know that like you can go into this new season, because I mean Pisces and Virgo, the opposite ends of the zodiacal wheel, like they're complementary energies. So like, and we're about to be in a new astrological season, an Aries season. So like allow that to be the story that was, and like think about what you want to create and what magic you want to create with your life through your words, and declare it to the universe.
I love that so much. Was that helpful, Nina? I'm gonna, there we go. Sorry. I didn't mean to do, there we go. Was that helpful?
I feel like you're the first person in this world ever to understand me. If I could get that tattooed on my forehead, I would never speak another word ever in my life ever again. Because that's been the biggest struggle, is what you just said. That's 100% me. I'm grounded in who I am, but my best relationship was with a Pisces, and we are still the best of friends. We created a love child together, but I outgrew him.
Yeah.
But we're still best friends.
I love that whole idea of the story of your past doesn't have to be your story starting today. You know, this is
That's
like
right.
every day is a new day, and whatever's going on out there isn't my story. Whatever happened in my past isn't my story. Today, my story starts. So absolutely. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let me see if I can, there we go. All right, you guys. So the special for the flash sale, only for Spell Squad people, only in the clubhouse. This is for you guys only. I'm giving 25% off all potions, my potions. Oh my gosh, I'm drinking one of my potions right now. Look at, well, it's almost gone. That's a love potion right there. That beautiful, oh my gosh. So the potions in the shop are 25% off for you. Now, how do you get the code for that? You have to text me. I have a text number now. You can reach out to me and I can let you guys know about other things that are coming up for sure, but it is a way to reach me. It comes through to my phone. So the number to reach me is 310. I'm going to put it in the chat so that you guys all have it. So write it down, get out your pen and paper, everybody. Okay. So it's 310-510-6185. 6185. Now I'm questioning it. That's the number. I put it in the chat. If you text me there and you text me the word flash, I will send you flash, like the flash sale. I will message you back with the special secret code so that you can get 25% off today and tomorrow only. It's going to be a sale on the potions, 25% off all the potions. And we have a new one. We have an uncrossing potion. So you can make it. It's like making a tea, but it's made with herbs that are for uncrossing, for love, for abundance, for money, for prosperity, for protection. We've got it all. We got you covered there. You can drink them. You can sprinkle them around. You can pour them into your bath. They're really versatile and amazing, amazing work. So you bless it. There's a little instruction sheet that comes with it, how to bless your potion, how to make it into a potion. So if you want to get a potion for 25% off today or tomorrow, text me at that number. Oh, 6184. Sorry. Thank you. Oh my gosh, you guys. Oh my gosh. It's 310-510-61. I knew that didn't seem right. 6184. Oh my gosh. That's the right number. 310-510-6184. Thank you, Buchanan. Speaking of Buchanan, my guest next week is going to be the Love Witch NYC, who also goes by Buchanan. That's going to be my beautiful, beautiful guest. This is the person I just love so much. And we're going to have an amazing time next week. So come and join us. We're going to be here next week. You can't, the Love Witch New NYC is going to be my guest, and we're going to have an amazing time together. Gabby, thank you so much for joining us today.
For having me.
It was so much fun hanging out with you and talking witchy stuff. It was just a delight.
I know. That's the best thing to being at the mini bar and actually being in real life together.
I know. We can't, or one of the, the conferences or the festivals. I miss all that stuff. We haven't had it for a year, but it'll come back eventually. But it was so great to hang out with you here and have the Spell Squad meet you. If they want to find you, it's Gabriella Herstik, and it's I'll put it up here. Let me put it here. GabriellaHerstik.com is your website. They can find all about you there, all about your books, all the things that you're offering, all the things that you're doing. That's where they can find you. So they can reach out to you. And of course, check out her amazing Instagram feed with all the beautiful pictures. And that's Gabriella Herstik too, right? That's the whole name.
Gabby Herstik. So
Gabby Herstik. Okay.
And that's the same thing on Twitter as well.
Oh, okay. All right. So it's Gabby Herstik at for the Gaby Herstik for the Instagram. Thanks again, Spell Squad. We'll see you next week when the Love Witch NYC is going to be with us. There's a witch in New York. See, there's another witch in New York. We're going to have an amazing talk, and I have a beautiful, beautiful week. Don't forget new moon spells. I know you guys love the new moon spell work, the kits, the workshop, all of it's on sale right now, just this week only. Next Sunday, it will not be on sale anymore. So don't forget. If you need a reminder, text me and I'll remind you, but reach out to me. That's my text number. Thank you guys so much. Have a beautiful, beautiful week. And we'll see you guys next week. Bye.